wonderful audience to a little show we like to call
Roll with the Troll.
Hey, sorry we were off for a few days there. Voice of Reason was out of town.
We weren't off for a few days. I was off for a few days.
Oh, I didn't do the show without you. You were out of town. Everybody, Voice of Reason was out of town.
I had YouTube where
out of respect for her, I felt I didn't do a show. I didn't.
Oh my gosh!
I felt it was better to just let Sleeping Dogs
I had access to YouTube where I was. I knew that you were doing the show without me.
Well, I don't think that's an appropriate way to look at it, but
well, I mean, it is what it is. You did the show, and that's okay. I mean, I heard you at one point discussing teenagers having sex unprotected.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, okay.
I think that came up.
That's probably.
I'm pretty sure.
Today's.
And I think you talked about Johnny and his son bonding over Arrested Development. Or something?
You know today's. I don't know. You got an imagination.
Various on-screen murder sprees.
Yeah. Well.
There was all kinds of stuff.
Okay, listen. You
even suggested that you could fill my role and that you would know what I would say.
I didn't.
That was fun.
A lot of this does not sound familiar to me at all, actually. I don't think
and then I really love the part where you imitated me and made me sound like the queen.
Okay, you know what? All right. Today we're talking about Halloween Returns. I'm sorry about this, everybody. Halloween Returns was a film that was gonna be made in 2016, all right? So, pretty damn close. Right before they ended up doing the new Halloween 2018 film, Halloween Returns was going to be the way to go. I think this would have been really cool. Now, I don't think anybody's going to be able to tell you whether this would have been like a different time. Like, what timeline would this have been?
How was it going to be different than what they did in 2018?
Well, it was a whole different story. Totally different story.
Really?
Yeah. The only little bit of borrowing was that it would still involve... they were going to tie it into the original film in that one of the victims' kids was like grown now, like an adult. Mm-hmm. And the victims, I don't know which victim, I don't think that was ever decided.
Yeah.
But one of the victims' kids was going to be coming after Michael. And not really coming after him, but coming to see Michael's execution. Michael was going to be on death row. And I think this was a really interesting thing because, first of all, if he's on death row, that means no mask, right? You can't, there's no way they could have written into the story that he's still wearing the mask on death row.
Right, yeah.
That would have been weird.
I don't think they allow that.
Well, they don't, but I mean, maybe they could have come up with something crazy, like it stuck to his face.
They have visual confirmation that they're
getting the right guy, They saw Halloween H2O and they're like, right. Let's just make sure we get this right. But
so it would have to be like either a kid of a kid or... a kid of a survivor if they were 18.
Well, that's the thing. The movie was coming out in 2016 or being made in 2016. For all we know, they would have just left the time and the year ambiguous.
Oh,
It could have been, maybe it was going to be much earlier. It'd be like that show Gotham. Remember Gotham, the Batman show?
I do, yes.
They were really careful, I think, on that show to never, ever state what year it was.
Yeah.
And even like with the cars and the technology, the cell phones, it's like they had cell phones, but I think you easily could have said like this could be anywhere from like 2003 all the way to modern day. It could have been almost anything. Anyway, so I think maybe that's where they were going to go with this. But yeah, the story was really, I think, really potentially interesting, even though we know very little about it. It was going to be Michael on death row and the son of a cop who was obsessed with Michael. Right? Mm-hmm. And the son and then one of the survivors' kids were going to sneak into his execution. This part's a little weird to me. Sneak into the execution just to see it. And then Michael, as usual, Michael never really goes down.
No.
So Michael was gonna get out. They were gonna sneak in and he was gonna sneak out of his own execution. I gotta tell you.
They probably left all of the doors open behind them.
And then that's how he gets out.
Reversed it.
I gotta tell you, I've snuck into a lot of things over the years. Concerts, movies, clubs, video shoots, all kinds of things I wasn't supposed to be in. At one point I snuck in to the kitchen at a restaurant and started instructing them on how to make my fries. And I wasn't welcome. I've done a lot of things. Never once has it even remotely occurred to me to sneak into an execution. I think that's weird.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So that was the idea, was that they were going to sneak in to see it, and they weren't supposed to be there. And then Michael escapes, and now, Michael goes off on a killing spree, and they try to hunt him down that night.
Wow.
Now, the only problems I'm having with this are if the kid's dad was the cop obsessed with him, wouldn't he be the one to want to hunt down? I mean, I'm sure he's hunting him down too, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know. There were little things about this synopsis I never really I don't think ever really came to light as far as exactly how far they were into the story and what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. But the movie never got made because Dimension Films owned the IP at the time, then they lost it, which is what led to our 2018 film that so many people love. So I guess in a way, maybe it was a good thing because we got a trilogy out of it where this was, at least at the time, it was supposed to be a standalone film. So I don't know. And I don't know where they would have gone. Who knows what the fucking story was going to do at the end. Would it have led to a sequel? Would it not? Yeah. But I like the idea of involving death row. Again, it's a different scenario than the same old babysitting and breaking into homes and hiding in the closet.
We've never seen his art get that far.
No, the closest we got, I think, was in Curse of Michael Myers, which is so split in the fandom. Some people love that film. Some people just hate it. I don't see it as a complete film. I really never have. I've always just seen it as bits and pieces of a story that just don't really add up. Doesn't really have an ending in the theatrical. But I think that it would have been cool to have something with it that's so different like this. Even though I have a feeling that by the end of the movie, Michael would have been right back to going to homes again, and it would be just like another Halloween.
It's his thing.
Plus, they've always got to work in that what he's doing is always on Halloween.
Yeah.
Would they really execute his ass on Halloween? I mean, that's some...
Yes, let's take him out of his very secure cell on Halloween night.
I mean, that's like
nothing can go wrong there.
That's crazy. And how does he get his mask back too? That's another thing. You always have to make these movies take place on Halloween, which is not easy in the script. And then you've got to make him somehow get his hands on a mask again. And both of those things are fucking difficult to do. That's why in Halloween 5, I think at the beginning, they made sure that his mask was nearby so that writer didn't have to fuck with it. He's just like, the mask is going to be right there. Soon as Michael comes back, he grabs a mask, he goes. There's nothing complicated.
Don't the prisons have like a place where they keep all of the belongings that came in with the prisoner?
Yeah, but he's got to make a quick getaway. I mean, when Michael gets out of there, he doesn't have time to rummage around and break through the... he can't do all that. He's got to go. People are chasing him down.
He's not opposed to killing anybody who gets in his way. He could do that.
That was another thing. In Halloween 4... It happened off screen, but he wiped out the entire police department. Remember that?
Yes.
He killed everybody in the police department. Brutal. That was a nice, different thing that we never really saw. We saw Michael take out a whole police department. And he did a better job than BLM and Antifa when they did that thing. Remember in Seattle when those fucking idiots, they took over a whole police department in Seattle.
Yes.
And people still defended them. They were like, that's okay. It's a revolution. I'm like,
my God.
They shut down your fucking police. There were rapes and murders as a result of that.
Yeah.
So Michael, we never got to see what he did. But on his own, one man alone, I mean, we never saw him do it, is what I'm saying. We saw the after effects.
Right.
But that's pretty wild. That was a nice example of taking him out of people's homes and off the street and off the normal situation that we see him in, just like in Halloween 6 was also different.
Expansion.
So this is good expansion to see him on death row for a while. I just wonder how much of the movie he would have been on death row.
Probably not very much.
Yeah, probably would have been the first 30 minutes or so, and then it's over, right? You know what I do wonder, though, is that there was going to be a kid of one of the victims. I wonder which victim,
right,
from the first film, presumably.
Yeah.
And what that kid, like, would the victim have been definitely murdered, or would it have been a victim who is still around but that he tried to kill, like that nurse that keeps showing up and everything? Remember her? He almost killed her in the first film.
Yeah.
Right. Or was it Halloween 2? I forget now. Guys, let me know in the comments. I forget. The nurse. And then she showed up in H2O, and now they used her again in Halloween Kills. Maybe they would have used her, and maybe it's one of her kids. I don't fucking know. But this would have been a great movie. I love the death row idea. I think that would have been really interesting. And I like the idea of the younger, which we're kind of seeing now anyway, but the younger generations going after him for the shit he pulled with their parents.
Yeah.
All of that would be fucking cool. Troll, you're so right. That's exactly.
I'm here.
What's that? Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot you. I was so used to doing your voice while you were away that I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I got no good habit there. So anyway, guys, what do you think about Halloween Returns? Do you know more information that maybe we're not talking about here today? Let us know in the comments. Do you think this would have been a good film? And if you had to choose between the Halloween Returns idea or what we got in 2018. Like if it really, because ultimately 2018 replaced the Halloween Returns idea a couple of years later. Which one do you think would have been the better way to go? Do you think this would have been cool to kind of replace Halloween 2018? It still could have spawned a trilogy. You could still do it just the same way, really. But maybe it would have been a more interesting, I'm thinking it would be a more interesting way to go. Yeah, I think ultimately if I had to choose, again, I love Halloween Kills. It's probably my favorite horror movie, but I didn't think Halloween 2018 was all that good. This is, you know, there's a theme with me. Yes. Most people totally feel the opposite. Most people feel that Halloween Kills was a letdown, which I don't get that. And they think that the 2018 film was like a classic, like an instant classic. And just like with the Rocky series, the first one's great, the rest of them are not. I'm always opposed. Creed, same thing.
Yes, you are a go against the grain kind of trouble.
I don't mean to be, but this is just how it ends up happening. I really didn't think the 2018 film was that awesome. I thought it ended well. I did like the ending quite a bit, but I think a lot of the setup going along with it was not so cool. And I probably would have preferred a Halloween Returns kind of idea.
Really? See, I'm the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I would really prefer the 2018. I like what came out in 2018, and I mean, who knows how Halloween Returns would have turned out, but just based on the storyline that I'm hearing, I think 2018 would be my preference.
Think of the intense opening. Michael Myers on death row right off the bat. That's a hell of an opening.
Take that little piece and put it into the new trilogy, but yeah, no, 2018 for me. That's my vote.
To the comments. Yeah. Listen, we've got fucking people commenting that know their shit and have great ideas. Byron. This has got you written all over it, my friend. Byron's ideas are fucking better than 90% of Hollywood. I'm telling you. Yeah. Go through his stuff. You read his comments and you're like, that's awesome. He's got all kinds of, he's like tying in Psycho 2 to like all kinds of Halloween stories. Fucking awesome. Yeah. We've got great ideas going on in the comments. Guys, let us know. Be sure to like, subscribe, all the other shit. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're having a good time, right, Voice of Reason?
We are.
We're having a lot of fun. Welcome to the channel where we got a lot more good stuff coming up.
Hit the like button, please.
Yeah, please do. Please support the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow.